Higher Rishi know-how, flowing from me to you as a transmission, changing your inner consciousness, making all the shifts that are needed by you to come out of pain, suffering, and furthermore, in every step of the way, it is bringing you to your absolute true nature of who you truly are. This has two parts. The foundation is the first step, which is higher Rishi know-how, that gives you a deep knowing, acknowledgement. That is the key. Without knowing, without your own permission to acknowledge within your deeper self, you cannot come into the next step of being that what you truly are, in embodiment, in your reality of being, right here, right now, in this very state of your being. The first step is jnana. In the ancient times it was called jnana, vijnana, and knowledge, but not information, higher knowledge. You see, this higher knowledge is something that is extremely potent because it is a continuous flow, alive with the potency that is happening right here in a self-realized being. Right here, right now, transmitted to you instantaneously and spontaneously. It is not something that is conjured up, learned, or read from the scriptures or books or the Vedas. The truth is something that is unlimited, vast, and in fact, it is eternal. And because of its nature, you see, this higher knowledge that awakens you and does it to you, the absolute gnosis that starts to well up and you get a deep realization. This deep realization is the key, the foundation for you to move further and further into your absolute true nature of being it. Gnosis, knowing. This higher know-how comes into enlightened beings. It is not something that can be faked or learned or talked about through any kind of second-hand learning. That is why it is pregnant with potency. You see, the potency, the master, the rishi, who it is in fact being transmitted out of, has to be alive. You see, you can read books, you can read all kinds of knowledge that was left behind by the great rishis and masters and seers, but that can only awaken you to a certain degree. The final enlightenment, the final abiding continuously and permanently into your natural nature, which happens instantaneously. You see, for it to happen instantaneously, it has to come out of the living master. And here, higher Rishi know-how is doing it to you effortlessly. It is not something that you have to do. It is, in fact, bringing you into the happening effect. The happening effect, it's happening constantly. Why? Why does it happen instantaneously? Because it is the truth. Truth is. truth is here, right now, continuously, immortally, eternally, and it cannot be changed. It cannot be minused or added to. And that is the reason why it is instantaneous, because it is. That is the nature of truth. Highest potency of know-how brings you into this absolute principle of your own self. Don't ever mistake this higher Rishi know-how with any other form of practices, because it is in the potency of enlightenment that you come into the oneness principle. For in this higher abiding of the Rishi, you are coming into the field of the Rishi. That is one of the catalysts. It is the catalyst that does it to you. And then there is the second part to higher Rishi know-how, which is the transmission of sitting in the session, where I take you into the absolute recognition. You see, where you recognize the truth. When you come into the recognition, that is when you are actually being it. It is not an experience, mind you. It is an absolute truth of being. And this is the second part of higher Rishi know-how. To come into the highest point of your truth, of being it, first you need many, many realizations. But in every area of your life where you're suffering, it is just that particular area that you need the realization in. And of course, to come into your permanent enlightenment, there are many, many realizations. You see, I heard somewhere in the spiritual circle that they said that realizations are not going to make you enlightened. They do nothing for you. You see, that is when you can actually see that the knowledge is not complete, because it is a whole process. It's a process in the making, which is happening to you as you progress in your path, in your search, with higher potent know-how. And it is not one realization that is going to give you permanent enlightenment. There are many, many, many realizations. In fact, it is said there are 1,000 awakenings. I have been given the gift of higher Rishi know-how with the 1,000 awakenings, mind you. 1,000 awakenings have been coming to me for the last 11 years. I have lived in solitude in my spiritual abode, in solitude, alone, in this absolute self-realization of my own, which I got at the age after 53, between 53 and 54. All my life I've been a seeker of truth. Who am I? Why am I here? What is this world about? What is going on? Why do I feel like nothing is right? Why does everything look unreal to me? There must be something more. This is what I have been into. And in fact, it has been happening to me. It is not something that I learnt. It has been going on right from the age of 5 for me, inside me. And at the ripe age of 54, I actually came into my self-realization. I had many, many profound experiences before that. Too many. You can read my book. I'm the author of this wonderful book for seekers, the autobiography called Self-Discovery this life. You see, it is not just about the accounts of my own life. It is in fact a book which is a coaching to help all seekers of truth awaken. Awaken fast and come out of all their blocks and all their untruths of being, slowly but surely, as a process. And so the realizations keep coming. Don't for a moment think that realizations are not what gets you there, because it is the realization that is the truth that you know, that you truly know. It is that very foundation that will bring you step by step into your absolute nature. But right now, the higher Rishi know-how is to bring humanity out of suffering and pain. The second part of sitting in the transmission, it is where you come into being it and recognize for your own true self what it really is. There are no words. Words fall short of this absolute beingness. Many will call it an experience, but it is not an experience. Because in an experience you go in it and you come out of it. But after your realizations in every particular area of your life where you are having pain and suffering, you will be given acknowledgement of what's going on, and then you'll be taken into the second part, the transmission, sitting in the session, the enlightened space of healing. You see, you'll get healed out of your situation, whatever it is, in whichever area of your life, with the transmission. And every transmission and every talk, which is always like a perfect anecdote for any particular problem. There is enlightenment, people who are seeking serious enlightenment seriously all their life. There are programs for those people. There are programs for people having relationship problems in the area of love, relationship. There are programs for people in health situations where they're having problems. There are areas of financial, money, abundance. And then there is always that very person that is the you who is suffering from not being complete, not being whole. In the area of yourself, there are many, many programs and transmissions to make you feel complete, whole, absolute, and truly live with being your absolute, whole, complete self in every moment of your life. There are areas where in your career, in your work situation on this earth, what is your real purpose of doing? Why are you in this body? Many have not come upon their true purpose. It is not about learning it. It is not about trying to find it. It is something that again just happens to you in the course of the process of you coming closer and closer to your truth of who you are. The second transmission is always the sessions. Come with me. Higher Rishi know-how is an effortless path, for it is the highest, direct, most potent path, simply because it is flowing continuously from the higher universal mind, from the higher absolute intelligence into this body, into this being, who is the Rishi. The gift has been given to me after my self-realization. Many, many, many profound experiences that I have gone through. Too much to talk about here. To know more about my life, you can read my book, Self-Discovery This Life, which will soon be published. I have been living in solitude for the last 10 years because higher Rishi know-how has been flowing to me extremely intensely. I have recorded hundreds of videos talking about what is coming to me as a transmission. I have written hundreds of books, but they are all in the process of being published now. After 11 years, I have remained silent. Now the time has come, my inner knowing, my inner realizations and messages are guiding me to bring it out and spread it and share it for all of humanity. This is, in fact, my first talk that I'm putting on YouTube. Higher Rishi Know-how is here for you to set you free. Come with me and be free.